Hello, everyone. My name is Chad Dauphin, and I am a veteran health teacher at Adlai E. Stevenson High School in Lincolnshire, Illinois. And I'm going to start doing this series of YouTube clips. It's something I've been wanting to do for quite a while now. But just to kind of go through my semester of health education, I'm going to start off day by day, kind of what I do to kind of keep the clips somewhat smaller. And then as we get into a little bit more of the school year, I'll probably do some videos, maybe talking about, day by day what I do through an entire week. I might do some clips of just an activity or something that I'm doing in class. Um, so if you have any suggestions, please feel free to make comments on YouTube, and I'll read through those comments, and I can always come back and answer questions or anything like that. A little bit about me. I've taught health for 24 years. I was in charge of the Shape America Health Ed Twitter chat for, gosh, I want to say 3 to 4 years. We did that. And the reason I wanted to do this is because this is more of what I felt teachers really wanted. And that was, for new teachers, even veteran teachers that may be going back into the health ed classroom, uh, just some ideas on health education today. It's obviously changed quite a bit over the years. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about our program at Stevenson and kind of what we do, and then what I do specifically each day. So first of all, I will tell you that the first week of health education, I spend kind of building community within the classroom. We do a lot of some SEL stuff that I'll talk about along the way. But just hang on and I guess just listen to what I have to say, and you can either continue to follow or give me suggestions on some different things that you guys would like to see, and I can make some changes. So first of all, I'm going to go ahead and share my slideshow. This, I think, kind of the easiest way to go about this. A lot of things on the first day. I think in this video, I'm going to include the first couple days. But first day, obviously, you have kids still moving around schedule wise and so forth. So I will do some activities, whether it's, getting kids to, find their seats and doing it without talking and sit themselves alphabetically. Just try to get them to communicate with each other a little bit more, whether it's verbal or nonverbal communication. So we'll do some like little activities, at the beginning of each day throughout the week. I find that that's just a good way of getting kids to be comfortable with each other as they enter the classroom. It's simple, takes 5 minutes. Sometimes we do it. I'll put timers up on the board and see, which class can get the best time for whatever type of activity that we're doing. Then I go into an introduction of myself on day one. I let the students know about me, kind of give them a little bit of my history of what I've done within the school, talk a little bit about my family. I always call this, kind of lowering the water level. I'll explain that more later, but I let them know that they're going to get to know me a lot more throughout the semester, and I will obviously get to know more about them. So I start off just by kind of sharing a little bit about myself and my background. I also teach an ELL. We call them ML now, for multi-language learners. So I teach a section of multi-language learners, and I have a aide in the classroom. So I also, in that class, have my aide create a slide, and they also get to talk a little bit about themselves as well. Then I have a seating chart. This seating chart is important to do on day one, and I will explain why in a minute, but it's part of my building community. So on day one, I make sure that I put students in a seating chart, and the purpose is really for me to get a handle on whether this seating chart is going to work, or if I need to make some changes within the seating chart. When I'm making the seating chart, I don't really know the students, so I'm putting them together, and I'm really paying attention for the first couple days of whether this seating chart is going to work for my building community activity that are going to kind of take place throughout the semester. So during that seating chart, I'm obviously taking attendance on day one as well. Then I go over a little bit about what health class is. At Stevenson, health class in the state of Illinois, it is a graduation requirement. But I also let them know that there is more to health class than what they may have taken previously. So we are going to certify during the school year all students in American Red Cross for both CPR and AED use. So we talk a little bit about that certification and that they're going to also get that out of health class. The next thing is what we call our 46th credit. The 46th credit has been in place at Stevenson since the early 90s, as far as I know. And this was a policy made by our school board that all students would pass this assessment. And the 46 credit has changed over time on what it is. But the 46 credit is basically the district's initiative to make sure that students have a little bit more knowledge when it comes to drug and alcohol use and abuse. So it's just a little bit of an extra step we take at Stevenson, and you'll hear more about this when we get to the drug unit. But we do, it's a health information literacy assessment, and it's a bunch of articles that the students read, and it's kind of written similar to SAT style questioning. So they read this and perform a quiz as they're going along reading the different materials, and so we'll talk more about that later. And then the last thing is getting them to understand that health is no more just building knowledge. It's not just about concept knowledge. It's not about memorization. Our health class has changed to skill-based health education. We have an evidence-based learning program. We call that EBR, evidence-based reporting, also known as standards-based grading. So we have 4 skills in health education that we assess on. And those skills, as you can see here on the left-hand side, the first one is analyzing influences, which goes along with the national standard. Communication and advocacy, we have put together as a skill. So we'll talk a little bit more about that skill as we go on. Then we have our decision-making skill. And then our final skill is health information literacy. So those are the 4 areas and 4 skills that we assess our students on. So if we are giving an assessment, it is on one or more of those skills. Usually one. We have a couple assessments that might include 2 different skills. Our goal setting skill, as you know, goal setting is another national standard. That skill is taught in our freshman physical education curriculum. We still do go through units of study. So we go through, even though we still go through a wellness unit, which also includes a pretty extensive nutrition unit, CPR, drug awareness, and social health. Again, within those units of study, we are assessing students on the 4 skills on the left-hand side. We do use Canvas. We use Canvas mainly to push stuff out to students, as well as collect assessments and so forth. We have our syllabus on there. We talk. It's a great place. For myself, I do all my lesson planning on Canvas, so students know, what we're doing each day in class. If they miss a day or 2 or even more, they can keep up on Canvas. So I always tell students, make sure that they're checking Canvas daily, whether they're in class or not. Canvas provides a timestamp, which we talk about at the beginning, letting them know, that stuff is being checked for time completion. And making sure that they're turning assessments in on time. The nice thing about Canvas also is if you're using Canvas for assessments, I have students make sure that they turn in the assessment by the end of the class period so that I can make sure and see what they have worked on during that 45-minute time that they've been in class doing the assessment. They may need 5 more minutes to finish it outside of class, but Canvas keeps that first turn in so that I can look to make sure that the students use that 40 minutes and didn't just go and cheat on that last 5 minutes they needed outside of class. We talk about, being responsible, holding themselves accountable, just knowing that everything's on Canvas. And then if they have any questions, make sure that they send me an email. That's also part of one of their skills being communication and advocacy. We stress that not only on their assessments, but just day to day, that we're holding them accountable and we expect them to communicate with us and advocate for themselves, so that if they need anything, they need to make sure that they're reaching out to somebody that can help them. We have something at Stevenson called the Interactive Report Card. This is just basically students' access to their grades in Portal. It's a system that converts their EBR, evidence-based reporting, or standards-based grading directly into kind of a letter grade, so they have an idea where they're at. Then we talk about how can a student be successful in this class. Letting them know they need to have an open mind, make sure that they're willing to help other classmates that are in their group and within the classroom, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. Be an active participant. We're looking for students that don't just sit and get, but this is a discussion-based class. Be willing to try. We stress teaching resiliency, and it's okay to fail. It's okay to get the wrong answer. Nobody's going to laugh at you, because that's the respect that we have for each other. And then just being, again, responsible, being an advocate for themselves, checking Canvas, checking IRC. That's my expectation for all students, and that's part of the growing up process. My expectations, I just go through some of, I'm sure you all have your expectations, but making sure that they're in class on time, making sure that they're ready, to work, making sure that they have their phones away, that they understand iPad use and what their iPad should be used for and what they shouldn't be doing in class. We stress turning work in on time, and I'll talk a little bit about that as we go on, because we do have deadlines. Even though we are an EBR course or standards-based grading course, there are deadlines and students are held to those deadlines. Maintain a positive learning environment. That's just, showing respect for themselves, showing respect for others. Be present, have energy. One, I will tell you, this is where I'll kind of throw out my first activity I do. But if you've never heard of the UFO ball, the UFO ball is a great tool to have in class, especially right at this point where you're talking about the energy that you want your students to have in class. So I'll take the UFO ball. If you don't know what that is, it's also called the energy ball. But as long as everybody's touching the little magnetic strip, you can create this huge circle and kind of show, like if you're all touching fingers, that the UFO ball lights up. And what I'll do is, as we're all in a circle and the UFO ball is lighting up and buzzing, I will have one student on the opposite side of the circle take their fingers off the people to the right and left of them, sit down in their chair. I'll ask them to pull out their phone, and everybody in the class looks at them. The UFO ball is not lighting up anymore. And that's just a great way to show that when one person in the class is checked out playing a video game, being on their phone or whatever, it really brings the energy of the class down. So that's just something that it's a real quick activity, but it gets the point across that, one person in that class checking out can really affect the entire class and the energy in the class. And then last, again, communication is a skill, and reinforcing that I expect those students to communicate with me. The next thing that I do on day one, this is an activity that It's real quick. I have I call it the values ranking sheet, and it's a way for students to kind of look at different values. I do this on day one because this is a worksheet that they are going to use for the rest of the semester. So identifying their values is a big part of the decision making process. So it tells them in day one a little bit about themselves and what they value, because the next upcoming assignments that we're doing over the next few days, their values are going to be really important. So I take this time to kind of get them on Canvas, get them, making sure that they can pull the assignment off of Canvas, that everybody's logged in, it's working for everybody. They don't have to submit this assignment back into Canvas. I have them do that just because I want to make sure everybody knows how to submit an assignment on Canvas, especially if you have, transfer students that don't use your system, whether you're using Google Classroom or whatever that might be. I just make sure everybody's used to it. Everybody knows what they're doing. So I have them submit it, but I also have them take a picture of the last page. The last page, they're going to come up with their top 5 values. And these are the top things that they value the most in their lives. So that's something we talk about it as they go through it. We talk about, what their values are, kids that want to share. We talk about why those are the things that they value. I share some of my values with them as well. And it's just a good kind of quick assignment check, some questions that you can ask them to make sure everybody's on the same page with Canvas in turning everything in. All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop there for the first video. So if you have any questions, you can type those down here in the, what is it called? I guess the YouTube channel. All right. Hopefully you guys follow along. Got a lot more to come.